Hi everyone, welcome to White Noise. This is our 8th rendition, I made sure to look it up this time, of the reading. I'm Robin, here with Melissa, Moral P. And today, I didn't really talk to anybody about this, but I was thinking of a theme for the reading tonight, and for some reason, like, expose was coming to me. Kind of like just putting yourself out there and being just a very true, honest version of yourself and not filtering yourself for whatever crowd or whatever voice inside of your head is telling you to do so. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. You guys can take whatever you want from that. That's, what intention I'm going to be putting out there. But I'm not going to be reading everything right now, but I guess just to kick us off, I shall read one poem. It is called My Mind, My Heart, My Body. I take the maca powder and debate on popping a kitty pill, but I've never been more sober. Mentally, I am elsewhere, caught in digressions that make me think of drinking and other things. Drinking and taking the Metro North to the city and never returning. In a funny way, of course, just a cute funny way. Like that story about those kids not waking up one day, it was just a joke, right? Agent Orange in my wine glass alter surpassed the feeling of relaxation into a feeling so much deeper. I dreamt about it, I think, last night or some other time. All I remember is that I woke up and saw the time was 2:08. I fell right back asleep. I have went the entire week without a migraine. I think I know why, but I'll make you guess. I'm working on my butt because hers is so plump. Just kidding, I never compared to such a primordial thing. Just kidding. Asleep when I am awake because I am always dreaming of loving intimacy, of the pleasure, and then thinking of everything else, like how to replace that feeling with anything else. I turn on a lawnmower and mow away these thoughts. I cannot stand things that feel too real, like wanting to steal whatever residue I can find from bags hidden in your desk. It's all linked to something. I'll make you guess. My mind, my heart, my body, or the thought of you disappearing. Thank you. And our first/second reader/other host/marvelous queen of the night is choking person is Moral P/Melissa.
Thank you. I took an impromptu sip of my coffee and then began to choke. That's okay. Thank you all for having me. Thank you all for being here. I have 3 things I want to read tonight, but I wanted to start by reading a meme that my friend Henry sent me today. If you don't know me, something about me is I really love memes. I'm not somebody who's like terribly concerned with like the classics and the people who set paths of glory to like what we come to see now as art. Like I don't really give a fuck about that, and I never have. But this meme means a lot to me. And it says, "Poems be feeling like inside jokes. What the fuck are you talking about?" It's one of my favorite memes I've seen recently. Thank you, Henry, for sending me that. That being said, I have 3 things to read tonight. I'm going to start with this one. This one's called Not a Drop to Drink. He's selling the Subaru. He's crowdsourcing sobriety. He's touring the facilities and picking up slack. Meanwhile, I'm at the diner with friends crowdsourcing food. Eddie's bringing me endless refills of green tea and honey, but it doesn't help. There aren't enough turtlenecks in the world to choke the flame in my throat. I have so much to say about how I think the world should work. I want better, but only really have the energy to stick my hand down my pants. I want to jack off, but in a way that like helps my community. My children will be born into a world of colorless coral and virtue signaling and Nazis, and I'm just trying to walk 10,000 steps every day and drink enough water and call my sponsor. Summer says I gotta read more if I want to write better, but the water in my apartment smells like metal. That being said, I read a book the other day that had more words in it I didn't know than did know. Words I couldn't even get out. I'm trying to find a book that tells me dumb people are allowed to make art. I'm trying to make a poem that convinces you a dummy can be an artist. There isn't enough water in the world to put out the fire in my throat. Once again, it is spring, and I am begging nodes and drowning in eucalyptus oil. I'm watching Waterworld and think of every time I've drank my own piss. It's an entire world just like ours, but underwater, and Kevin Costner's really hot, but not in a way that you'd ever admit. That's the whole movie. I'm not even kidding. They don't make good movies anymore, or maybe they make too many movies. Maybe movies were never really good in the first place. All I know is that if I had 3 wishes, I would wish to experience Judge Dredd for the first time again 3 times. Coral and Nazis be damned. I am drinking as much water as I can stomach, but my throat is on fire and I slept through my afternoon walk. When you're poor, they'll do anything to waste your time. I'm writing this poem at a laundromat, but before I could even crack open my notes app, I was mercilessly shoving quarters into a metal beast one by one by one by one, and it's not even noon yet. All right, my second poem. Thank you. My poems end so abruptly. I saw on YouTube one time people like go back like this. I don't know. All right, this next poem is called An Ode to the Stray Cats of Poughkeepsie. Ode to the stray cats of Poughkeepsie, whose paws and claws and cuckoo-cachaws pitter-patter on cobblestone atrium walkway. Blessed are their tiny whiskers that graze the sides of walls and legs and tree trunks. Humbled was I by kind kiddish kitten who stared down railcar ferociously, only to parlay its way out of front, a devilish dance to tease train. Pesky pussycats howling at back doors and front doors for tuna and attention. I admire your elegance and your complexity, your wit. I stand on the street corner all begging you for what you won't give me. 9-lived friend to hive-minded men, we could only wish for your freedom. No social security, no kneeling on pews, no leashes, no leather, no keeping clocks in walls and clocks on our phones and alarm bells ringing raucously demanding straight spines, no burnt butter, no fake orgasms. Precious furry friend who bides their time on rooftops and in hidey holes, basks in sunspot sanctuaries worshiping their own desire. This moment is to honor you. All right. This is my last one. I wrote this a few days ago. I'm so happy to be here. All right. This is called Harold and Kumar Storm the Capitol. I don't know. I'm like feeling like a little second guessy about this one. All right. There's a million men here, but no one's really in the mood to march. I Google if I'm allowed to say that kind of stuff, and now I'm down the rabbit hole. 7 clicks later, and I'm glued to a subreddit that's going to connect me with more people than any one person should ever know. User HotboxRodeo444 is going off about big toothpaste, and I am a bystander throwing tomatoes from the mezzanine. It's all a conspiracy and not like that Paramore song. The more art I make, the more I realize how behind the times I am. A million little cuts or a million drops of water in the middle of your forehead, but you can't drink any of it. I'm in 4th grade, and every time I hear about an old school torture method, someone puts the word Chinese in front of it. I fuck a guy who has an anti-communism shirt, and I can't stop buying books I don't have time to read. Wasted are the days of my youth, thinking I could be an agent of change as opposed to a hypocrite. Instead, I am in a fitting room in a Macy's, layering bra over bra over bra. I'm raveled in wires and bound by elastic straps like a ball of rubber bands. I Google world's largest rubber band ball and can't really get a straight answer. 1 million rubber band balls in 1 million towns all over the US, 3 in Europe. Anyone worth knowing has a picture of them shaking hands with a war criminal. I call the troops and we cancel Jimmy Carter. I call the troops and we cancel a Popeyes and Southwest Florida. I love Southwest Florida. I'm on my hands and knees begging you to call me a hero, but I keep forgetting to water my garden. The rabbits got my cauliflower. This season is a bust. I'm on Google Docs trying to make sense of a spreadsheet, but I can't seem to get a straight answer. 1 million tabs open, 1 million opportunities to accept cookies. There's an ad humming from one of them, and no matter how many times I close out a tab, I can still hear it. Yesterday, I walked through the forest in my backyard. It's always there, but we're barely acquainted. Some idiot in Keens in a Patagonia jacket has his dog off leash, and he's lucky that I don't have a gun. Thank you. And up next is Random Hero and Umi.
Greetings, neighbors. I appreciate your attention for the next few minutes. I am Random Hero. I'm the first of a new species of Homo sapiens that have subsumed them. We are called Homo Narrative, and my story is called No Name in the Street. This story happened about 2 years ago in Brooklyn. I was walking around my neighborhood, as I do quite often, and I came across a box of books. Now, normally I just walk past these boxes of books, but I have several friends who take the time to stop and go through them. And this time I decided, you know what? I'm in no rush. Let me go through this box of books. So, I went through the box of books and I saw several different types of books. There were textbooks, there were pamphlets, there were smaller books, and I tried to figure out which book I wanted. Now, the textbooks were big. They had many words, full of information, and the pamphlets were small. I could get through them real quick. But, I kept looking and I came across a book, and this book was called No Name in the Street by James Baldwin. And so I chose this book. I decided that since I still had plenty of walk left, a textbook would weigh me down and a pamphlet might get blown away, but this book I felt like I could really hold on to. So I went about my walk. And I kept walking, and I walked to a cafe that I frequent. And I went into the cafe, and I sat down, and I read the whole book. The whole book in one sitting. It took me about 4 hours. I did not plan to read the whole book in one sitting, but I did. I started it, and word after word, sentence after sentence, paragraph after paragraph, I kept going. And at some point, I thought to myself, can I finish this whole book? I've never done this before. And so I kept going, and I kept reading, and I finished it. I couldn't believe it. 4 hours in one sitting. Me, Mr. ADD, Mr. ADHD, Mr. Can't Sit Still, get thrown out of class. I read a whole book in one sitting with 1 cup of coffee. I felt a little bad about that. And so I went to the cafe owner and I tried to give him the book. I said, hey man, sorry I only drank 1 cup of coffee. Here's a book. But he said, I don't have time to read books. And I said, okay. So I was about to leave when somebody at the end of the cafe said, hey, I'll take the book. And so I was like, okay, here you go. And I gave him the book. Now, ADD and ADHD are labels. They're put on people because of patterns of behavior that are often termed to be disruptive. Now, disruptive behavior is only problematic under oppressive systems that require people to behave in certain ways. Now, when it comes to labels, I've been labeled everything. ADD, ADHD, APD, BPD, the other BPD, ODD, you name it. All of these labels have been put on me, and some of them I own. Some of them I label myself. But when people put labels on me that I don't agree with, well, that makes me a little bit angry. And I try not to be too angry anymore because I don't find it to be productive or useful. But sometimes it does happen. And now, I just let these things go. And it's okay. Because what somebody else labels me means nothing. And what I label myself means everything. So I leave you with a question. To what do you dedicate yourself? Thank you very much for listening.
All right, so I have what looks like to be 3 poems prepared for you today. And I guess we have this theme of expose, but some elements of these are a little too far in that direction, including names, phone numbers. I'm basically doxing everyone that I know. So I'm going to reserve my right to omission and just scream redacted whenever I don't want to include a piece of it. Sorry. All right, so this first one is called Manipulating My Mom. So when I was in high school, but like the last year, so I was an adult to all my neurons that had been infected with the military-industrial complex all throughout my youth. I figured I would not join the military, I would drink because I was grown up enough to die for this country, and that I would also buy a kitchen table at a yard sale for $30. Because it was a glass-top retro-futuristic Art Deco set, I could take pictures for Tumblr. And be a woman when I invite my friends over and I move out from my mom's house. So I bought a tea set with matching dinner plates and chargers too, and I did move out, and my mom calls me every day to wake me up for early lecture to make sure I made it home safe. But she always ends on the note that she has 2 full kitchen tables with 2 entire sets of chairs, and half of that is in the garage. She'd rather not deal with it herself, but right now, my hands are tied because I saw the strangest squirrel walking from class, plump with a coat that glistened, rich in vitamins. You could see the oil shimmer in the light. Moonstone into marbles, rolling back and forth, its body trailing behind. A little guy, a baby. There's a park on campus with dogs and people with bread, trees with bark and soil. He sleeps in his lunch. He sleeps. Today, his feet pattered lightly, almost hovering above the concrete and marble floor. He must have seen a new sheen and went for it, because it was nighttime and the moon hit the iridescent veins in the plate, its surface cooling on the poor boy's back. The mortar between must have looked to be not there at all. The night and unfamiliar nothing closed his eyes for him, and now, in the morning, with those headlights like dulled eyes, and the clatter of garbage to first lines of the newest horizon, sun that doesn't creep in between branches but envelops the body in a second, an incomprehensible massiveness, every sense is pinched into life. Right before a car comes barreling down the road, someone on their way, all this to say, I cried, and Mom, don't you care about that? All right. This next one is called Surveillance. The teenagers are turning 20, and I just turned 20, so maybe it's about me. Happy birthday. Thanks. All right. When I do this, often I sit at the bottom of my pooling pool water, caught in the time part of my eyes, almost always blurry, my way is skewed. Oversaturated, harsh distortions of redacted. So I trip a lot. Over very small and tiny, very silly cabochons, knickknacks, tchotchkes, car keys, keys to the city, the power of at least 20 men who still believe in the values of local politics, at least. I have all this. Right now, I eat like I don't know where I'll find my next, eating a meal or bit the hand that guided me, and shot the thing or mauled it because I couldn't do it by myself. And I know myself so badly, I feel her desiccate, my nose against my brain, pavement against it all. I tell her I'm sorry in all the ways I live, out what I'm doing like a picture of what could be sight to you, and it is not sight to me. The light does not change and bottles don't erupt. The foam on my chin is leaking out, a glittering image. I guess what I look like in the bath. It's another man's treasure. It's my trash. I eat it up. I assume it came from cups that get bigger because I can hear plastic get big. That's why they gave me this sash. And what about the top hat? All the history of men in big hats they hand to me without doubt. They hired me because I can taste the mirror in my sleep and I feel my jaw against my tongue when I am denied your touch. I am not really. Am I another man's treasure? That's why they gave me the sash in the first place, and the hat, and throw me back to sea. Double helixes cut up, double twins doubling past extinction, they erupt. And that I can feel, the flux from potential to kinetic energy, of course it bubbles. I can get to the bubbles by myself, but I need you to see them for them to be real again. Bodies from antibodies to mud, and they're all named Mud, and they all love it. The story treasure ribbon, the badge, the flag, the gold, the mold, the meek, the brave, the cat, and I'm looking you in the eye with the holes I let fester, I am looking. I feel bad, so I say sorry to myself, and I tell you I'm sorry too, and I don't tell them, but I'm sorry for them too, and I'm forgiving all of us with all of my sorrow, and I let go in infinity symbols on bracelets removed before dissension. Are you tired? Did it colossus you? Did it eat your gaze out rudely without permission? The vitrine was there. We took up its space. Didn't we grow into its corners, its clean blade? Did we not enjoy the cutting penetration? And oh, you nameless paradigm. And all the names set up, sounding, unwinding, the call of defeat, didn't we engulf because we knew it was coming anyways? And the suburban porch was emptied of rocking chairs and children, and the sun set without a roar. Now setting on conversations hardened in its yellow light, how liquid began to sit in my stomach like a stone for days, and we walked it off passing by more serious troubles than digestion, and metaphors of desiccation became the images that grew bodies around them. Thanks, guys. Okay, so this is the last one, and it's about my ex-boyfriend. And one of my new ones. And it's called and it's called Forward and with type 2 Adderall addiction. Boy named Boy Number 2 told me to watch some obscure media about the growing apathy of our generation. Yeah, but I'm sorry about the whole Number 2 thing. Machiavelli told me to run his money, so I couldn't think of anything but his name and how pretty it is. It would be prickly to use up a good name like that for myself. How sick I feel. No human is disposable. Names are not absolute. I think that I will talk this out until I've broken new sweat. And oh God, how I've hurt you, Boy Number 2. Endless referencing, and less than normally I decline, or I decline cringing less than I am more external about declining and cringing and recline into this dirt. I let him say we are the same person talking to each other, but I'm the New York version, referencing each other in the hours we spend, only a fourth of the time listening, because 1/4 is dedicated to trying to figure out how to not stop talking to each other and what will be comfortable, and I'm overstimulated by all this comfort and by the dirt. About the grass and my allergies, my hives could be poison ivy and not stress and not your missed call. That old sweat congeals into the makeup on my forehead until it all drips into the shape of a banana peel that I slip on and hopefully die from. This just seeing past his face and over to your house. I kill myself there every day. The closets stink. That's why we're smoking, and this ash is falling right on the grass and burning it a little bit. I'll warn him about it right after I text my long-distance best friends. We play hooky together. Sorry, I'm reading this on my phone because I'm a degenerate and my screen is cracked. We play hooky together, but just sleep. You remember them? We all went to high school together. When it was only half always sunny, on FaceTime with them, on Mondays with them, we all forget a little bit what each other's bodies looked like under all those crackling digits. They're feeling a little sick like I do, and if they're feeling sick a little too much all the time, we'll just die together because I got nothing else to do but hate on something kind and hit each other's digital liminal arteries with the ice picks we use to mine Bitcoin. Those arteries are blocked. These block hands are blockchain to each other because it was our baby. And I'm locking the hole to this one now too, to the boy. He keeps being pretty with no Instagram, so I'm upset because I really wanted to show you. I show myself, you see. Sick stomach blues beneath the Vivian Westwood I put on just to meet him in the park because all you need to know is I'm cool and could take it or leave it no matter what's served. I'm serving this vintage. I'm serving a little too tired and my heels are a little too cut up and bleeding into my white socks. They're John Fluvog, the socks. The shoes are off and I'm still 20. And now I'm thinking about all the skin under the pricey striped Oblivion Vivian Westwood sweater. I actually stole it, but not the other stuff and not my skin, except from the government, but I didn't even get it all back yet because they stopped that skinny, stimmy check, and that's why I stole it in the first place. And I'm talking about you and your mom from Germany. Mine is Southern. My name is a reference to Boston, and everything there died big. To Boston, and everything there a while ago died big. I don't want to think about it. I would like to think about you breathing again and not him, and how you talked over the quietness, but it felt like I'm doing this without your consent, so I'll switch out your lungs for his. He tried to guess who I am based on everything I didn't tell him about that place. I wasn't sure if I wanted to sit in it, so he filled the space that I hadn't decided on. Sorry, again, this feels so wrong. Something I should not be talking about because I am really just thinking about the guy his ex-girlfriend sounds like she would love if she got the chance to meet him, but I did, thinking I might be nothing like her because he's just finding her in everything in the same way I find you in everything, even him.
My mommy and daddy don't love me, so I'm gonna hide underneath my bed and hold my breath to the count of 100, or run away to Kansas and find Dorothy and walk down the yellow brick road with her and our little dog Toto. My mommy and daddy won't let me have a pet. They say animals smell bad, and I say, how about goldfish? And they laugh and hit me with a ruler. I'm planning to pack myself in a suitcase and take a trip to Zanzibar or Timbuktu or someplace I won't easily be found, and I'll stop sucking my thumb, and I'll stop wetting my bed, and I'll stop stealing my brother and sister's cookies, and I'll stop behaving like an out-of-control top smashing into everything, correcting all the wrongs that would have made my mommy and daddy love me. Anyway, my best friend Billy told me someday I'll grow up to be somebody important, like those cool guys on the corner talking on cell phones, slapping fives, never going to day jobs, but always taking taxis everywhere and wearing the hippest threads and jewelry. And when I'm rich as any Rockefeller, I'll push my parents' doorbell and reintroduce myself to their ordinary lives, and they'll say, "Come on in and have a hamburger and a Coca-Cola and put your feet up on that sofa, and you know you were right about your sister. She's smelly and your older brother's creepy and sticks dead snakes in his dresser drawer, just like you told us." So we crowned you Prince of 112th Worth Street, Brooklyn, U.S. of A. When Herkimer spoke, seagulls flew around his head like a halo, and cowboys drank a toast to the last of the buffalo. When Herkimer spoke, someone whistled the melody to Old Man River. Someone hailed a taxi with a $100 bill. Someone shuddered like a toaster coughing up burnt rye bread. When Herkimer spoke, I whispered like a leaf being watered. I walked into a labyrinth carrying a compass. I stood on my head and delivered the Emancipation Proclamation. When Herkimer spoke, comets whizzed by like an orchestra led by Count Basie, and sparks flew from the head of Medusa. When Herkimer spoke, I put away childish weapons. I recited Blake. I laid down in a field with lambs. I slept like the baby Krishna. When Herkimer spoke, I wound up my little boy's top and watched it spinning. He was ready to leave. The bags were packed. The kisses were kissed. The animals were petted. The car was revving in the driveway. It had been a long haul, a hunchback of years, a cauldron of high expectations, a buzzsaw of mudflats and eagle nests. When he looked down at his toes, he was bulldozed. His feet wiggled in his shoes. His hat slumped over his brow. He looked silly. The car sped off in the horizon. It was a flat horizon of cacti and sand, lots of sand. The waitresses at the roadside diner smiled. She handed him a note. 20 minutes in the shed to the left of the dumpster. He unbuckled his belt and fucked her bent over like a clam. Later that day, he landed in Phoenix. The note on the pillow welcomed him. The view of the city thrilled him. He was a hometown boy with hometown dreams. The room was cool. The internet was down. The room service arrived. A beautiful brunette asked him what he would like first. He laughed and sliced the bacon. He always sliced the bacon into 3 equal parts since he was a boy on Elmer Lane in Wichita. The hummingbird hovered outside the window. A small dog barked loud enough to scare the cat in the window. Yesterday, he remembered Blue. She was always reminding him she would run away. The infinite trials of embittered men with nothing to lose, the remorseful airs of stuck-up girls in perfumed hotels, the regretful tug on impossible roles by men always on the way somewhere. And I'll just finish with this. Reminiscences. The early morning light reminds me of you, the strange opinions, the tangled hair, the impossible odds. Those were long days, roped in bliss and tears. Days that tugged at our collars and slammed us against life like bumper cars. I remember your voice rising above the din, the echo of expectations floating across the periphery of the world with a hiss. The way time opened its hands with a full alibi and a crush of sand. We watched it pour into our lives like thunder. We watched it twist in the wind like a tornado. We watched it depart with any glances back or a tip of a cap. Now memories linger on my doorstep, marked with paint and words. Now memories shout out with chalk across barren streets, demanding a voice. Now memories collide with stone and ash and time. And I watch as the ghost of your memory passes into the fire, going, gone.
Wow, no microphone. Amazing. Not used to it. All right, this one is called The Scent of Skeletons. The big-time doctor enters a room. I need a little more light. Can I have a little more light? The big-time doctor enters a room. It's a bit like the alpha stag has trotted in. Doc is feeling it, but first, the requisite display of humility. Look how down to earth I am, huh? And we eat it up. What an offering, these things like big antlers, the stench of musk, the big bank account, they all have a clear power. It is a biological imperative. It is. It's a force of nature. It remains as powerful here as if it actually applied to that situation. And you know what? Cry for us. Cry for us, for we are lost and follow the scent of skeletons. Over time, we have developed greatly. We have the ability to discern these things, but we don't. And so, a fountain of tears for all that could have been. Bathe in it. Lap those salts. There's a subtle beauty in the almost. Smile upon the face of ruin. It colors the background of our lives like crayons. And this one is sort of an expose. It's an old memory that came to me, and I kind of pulled it, reeled it in. But there's an expose is like my parents left me at like 4 years old alone in the lobby of some big hospital with people coming and going. It's called Bevels. Like a memory in a bubble, it floats across time and unerringly it comes to me. I had fewer words back then, brain less adorned with vocabulary, and this left a sparkling mind. A sparkling mind and an impressionistic child in an unfamiliar place. Time was expansive, and the ceiling towered unfamiliar and sterile. Moments back then were soft-pointed things. They stretched quietly like putty, and there was no way this child could fill all that space and all that time on his own. There was, though, a chair. And this chair had lines of beveled metal tacks. He knew somehow that he could fill the time by counting them. And it took way fewer words to know that back then. He began to count each one, and he touched and felt each one with a little boy finger. This is because, like a dog that looks but also sniffs, way back then, we learned to touch. We leaned on touch much, much more. touch out a larger slice of the sensory pie. And 1 was a big thing, and 2 was a big thing, and time began to fall in line. And I believe I got to 100. This is where the bubble pops. This is where the remembrance stops. It's where the mind forgets how to sparkle. It's where words cover over everything, except perhaps when a bird does sing or a sunset rests on everything. Thanks.
Hi again and again and again. Yeah, now I will be officially reading. So what you saw before wasn't me. That was actually somebody else. So I'm Robin. It's the first time I'm on the stage tonight, and it's great to see you all here. This one is called Swallow. I swallow the depth of my pride in a single gulp. It slides down my throat like tapioca pudding. I stare into your eyes the whole time and beg that you are thinking the same way as I. We sit cross-legged at a table wearing John Fluvogs and some Comme des Garçons blazer, which I was wearing tonight. I am sipping tea ever so gracefully. The world is a teacup and I am the leaves brewed to exact such precise, perfect flavor. I taste like lavender and honey, creamed honey. After a week of not shaving, my legs are softer than ever. I slide my hands up and towards further up. Sukhasana Anjali Mudra. I close my eyes and pray. Pray for the day I will look at myself in its entirety and love every piece of me, even the bloated me, the unsorted me, the me that lives outside of me. I want to look down at myself and love my stomach, how it changes with the day, how it all goes back to normal at the beginning of a new day. How it loves all I feed it, how strong, full, beautiful it is. One day I will say this all and believe it. Okay. And this one is called Something So Obscene. It is the length of, I have to also preface that I am spoiling the ending of The Sopranos in this poem. So I know, but this is the actual ending. I'm sorry, but it's gonna happen. I am not redacting it. Something so obscene. It is the length of my hair that reaches to my shoulders in bouncy curls, no dead ends. Only the calluses on the bottom of my feet from the shoes I wear and the bruises under my skin, from jumping turnstiles and doing 400 squats and climbing mountains and standing for 10 hours and not drinking enough water and drinking too much water and too much kombucha and the sound of you in the distance. It is the sight of you in my dreams that makes me wake up with migraines. He says that any day I'll sprout a gray hair from all the stress I put myself under. Today I ran home from work to take a shit, and not in a fun, cute way, in a flushed face, static in my ears kind of way. I pick up at everything I feel and see, compulsive synergy with my body's ever-changing self, sprouting a pimple on the middle of my back that hurts so fucking much to pick at, and ingrown hairs in my groin, but I hardly ever get those anymore because I'm always shaved. But I wasn't supposed to say all that. I'm supposed to be proper because I have a master's degree, and I'm a lady and shouldn't talk about stuff like that. My degree is just a piece of paper, and I've wiped my ass with anything you can imagine. Really. I wonder what you're thinking. I lay with a headache now, and I'm so relieved I can write about shit and know that there's going to be someone out there imagining me wiping my ass with something so obscene I just couldn't say it in a poem. No, really, that'd be gross. I go to sleep with my hair wrapped around my body, comforting me when I'm busy thinking about the last season of The Sopranos, and God, why did they have to kill Bobby? I'm awake knowing that all that shit, even mine, happens for a reason. Thank you. And this is the last one I'll be reading. It's kind of long for me, but it's also kind of about The Sopranos. It's like a theme. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's called Fluorescent. I sit down on metal benches because they are impervious to grime. At least this is what I convince myself. It's how they look on the outside. I chain smoke cigarettes, metaphorically, and talk to Michael Imperioli, the guy who owns the laundromat, and I wear my sweatpants that say Italian down the side and a shirt that says Italia because I think he'll notice it and say something. I imagine he talks to me, but he just walks into the tailor's and comes out every 5 minutes with a new person. I think he's sneaking them in through the back door. It's gotten to the point where I'm putting cigarettes out on myself for attention, metaphorically, and I can't get my eyes off of the blonde with skin so wrinkled from smoking cigarettes and whatever else her whole life because I think she's so beautiful. Her car is so banged up, but not as much as Hannah's. I use your name because I want you to know that I resent you so much because I resent you so much. And I think you're beautiful, but sometimes I just want to say God damn it in front of you, but I don't want to start anything. So I give in easily to temptation and spend my morning with all these mental reservations, and I call you to tell you I feel melancholy, and you say I'm so lucky, and I say you don't get it. I think of calling everybody I hate and complaining to them about nothing or making them complain to me about nothing and then laughing about it and remembering why I hate them and hang up and feel even worse. You told me that I've been unhinged. Well, you didn't really say this, but I'm assuming you thought it in some distant part of your brain, and to that I say maybe. Like maybe I am, but maybe I'm just scared of the summer. Maybe I'm just scared of all the temptation and my loose grip on control. Maybe I just want to be on the beach sipping Stellas so badly and be so tan that you can finally see me. I see Michael Imperioli again. He is walking in a circle with his hand cupping his chin, and I think, God, he looks so melancholy. I sit and hand him a cigarette, metaphorically, and the blonde lady walks into the laundromat for the 8th time, and I think, wow, she's so beautiful with her wrinkly skin, her 2000s knockoff Coach bag, and her face that looks like she has only half of her teeth. I want to be just like her. She has a huge piece of bird shit on her left headlight. I want to remember what it was like to live so effervescently, to sit with my legs wide open and ready for anything. Maybe this is why I'm feeling this way, or maybe it's just because I'm menstruating. That's what he would say. It's just because I'm menstruating. Thank you. I knew this. And next is Cole Solis, my favorite person in the world. I love you.
I'll be reading 3 poems tonight as well. I think that's like the theme of the night. It's going pretty well, so I'm gonna stick to it. All right. The first one is called Caged Lilies. Lullabies require penmanship the way nature requires nurture. I pity the babe born past 2010 and loathe parents who gift iPads signed by Santa Claus. Parenting, not made easy, satiates stress by rotting brain cells. Not to diminish the convenience of screens with infinite knowledge, but to acknowledge the perils of trusting robots to raise your child. I like to fight fire with gasoline and drink milk from a well as the infant is ensorcelled by the ornaments on my face. I profess while she gargles hot chocolate from a spoon and clutches her screen like it was the knife she was using to defend herself. This one's called I've Been Ducked, and it's actually about the last White Noise performance. Afterwards, we all went to the Kingston waterfront. Well, a few of us did. Anyway, it's called I've Been Ducked. Repenting the brick wall I've been given instead of a heart. I dressed up to see you today. Why dwell on the nuance of the mundane when rhinestones can make any sensation appear glamorous? Yet the world greeted me with wars and pulverized promises, so instead I spoke to a duck. We stared at each other for over an hour, and she nearly bestowed me a feather. Marjorie Kingston waterfront baffled me of her endeavors in the trenches and her rather abusive mallard. He was keen to the improvisational monologues from his wife to estranged mortals. She got rid of everything she owned just to prove she was not codependent, is not codependent. Drake cut us off, said the pack was fleeting. Yet our pact remains kissing the water on the precipice of the Kingston waterfront. And this is my last poem. It's called Sudoku. All right. Not frugal, but not frivolous. A perfect dose of undeserving anecdotes. My mother and father to 2 kids condemned to alienhood, where she made white folks drink until the sun decided I might stand today. Working harder than those served, but that is the hum of opportunity orchestrating the alien's disposition. She mastered the art of painting over black smog. I know that because I was smiling anyway. I heard of kids going to camp or being able to leave the country. I lathered those fairy tales with authentic food trucks and trade rides to the World Trade Center. The cobbler across the hall mended my soul. 1 to 9, no repeats in a box nor line. I reflect on those summers like a sudden quench of thirst. Regardless of the cringe-worthy memoir of Susie May's resort vacation on my own land. Thank you.
So sorry to break the pattern, but I only have one poem tonight. It's called Advice from Me to Myself. Mad hound in midnight heat, yapping after hairy prairie gals. Spooky swooner, slurping soda-crazed bowls of focal banger over stoking embers. Hot shot woodwright, munching Happy Valley's Mortal Kombat mott sticks. Kratom capsule snorter, ear in your beer, gum in your fries. Because you've seen it all, and you've heard it all, you think you know it all. Spotlit rain, wings, wrath the campus Carillon. Don't trade your pawos for toast, Uncle Ali. Decode and go home.
Hi, so I have a few pieces. This first one's called Ribcage. Laying low under limp light, she is barely alive but breathing. She falls, her fingers grasping at shaky ground. Dirt in the creases of her palms, something like relief or the anticipation of it, marking her, dropping, dull clunk against her ribcage, blood and bone, shrouded in taut skin and tattered flannel shirt, muffles the noise as it lands. From then on, she will dream through dissonant recordings of herself, and any word which fails to capture truth, she will declare as her own. This next piece is an untitled poem about a friend I am no longer friends with. And you, in a stranger's bed, under a skylight, while she tattoos flowers on your arm. And me, in a hard-backed wooden chair, dirty towel draped, drying, creaky floorboards mark my movement. And us, shaken by the buzzing, rattled like old change in a tin. Black ink permeates your surface, infiltrates your temple, pigment soldiers moving in. And then this last piece is a prose poem that I wrote a couple years ago while I was in college. So a lot of self-doubt in this piece. I still have a lot of self-doubt, just for different reasons. Okay. So this is called Just a Few Things I Hate. I hate styrofoam coffee cups. I hate people who pick their noses in public. I hate light bulbs that start out really dark and slowly swell to only medium dark. I hate loud noises that wake you up in the middle of the night for no good goddamn reason. One time when I was about 9 years old, a fight broke out on our street, and it was so loud that it woke me up. People were shouting, I wasn't sure what about. Lots of names and plenty of rude words were exchanged. I didn't really get the adult world. I thought fighting was for kids. I don't mean arguing or spirited discourse. I knew adults could do those things. I thought that the really unhinged, loud kind of fighting, where no one really wins because both parties are assholes, I thought that was something children did on the playground and grew out of it around the same time that they grew out of worrying they're no good or feeling embarrassed in public, loving their mothers, or one of those other childhood flights of fancy that we all get over at some point. The truth is, my parents divorced when I was young enough that I didn't really see the dark side of their marriage. Really, the only time I'd ever heard them screaming or fighting at each other was after my grandfather's funeral when I was 4 years old, and we'd spent 2 weeks in a hotel in Chicago waiting for him to die, and I guess my parents just felt cooped up and let it all out in front of us. That was what I was thinking about as I heard those angry voices out on the street and the crowd that was starting to gather around them to defend one side or another. I didn't sleep much that night, even after my dad had come in to say goodnight and tell me it was all okay and they'd gone back inside. I hate coworkers who are always having a miserable day. Get over yourselves. I hate people who ask too little and expect too much. I hate writing. Really, I do. I hate sitting down in front of my computer and knowing that it's time to write and wanting to write and having plenty of ideas and none that can fall and land anywhere. I hate a sentence that can't be worded perfectly or a word that I can't think of or an idea that just comes out all wrong. I hate that my best ideas arrive at the worst times so that when I'm finally able to find a pen and track down the back of an envelope or an old receipt, nothing makes sense. I hate the archive of short story or poem or play ideas that never got past the first few pages. I hate the finished pieces that aren't worth shit. I hate the feeling of failure when something does get chosen to be read or performed or printed or put online. I don't deserve this. I hate concert talkers. I hate sidewalk blockers. I hate presidents. I hate the Supreme Court. I hate burns. I'm nursing one goddamn motherfucker of a burn right now because yesterday my roommate took a pasta pot off the burner and I didn't look and realize it had just been on and I put my fingers on it like an idiot and now I'm the idiot with the blistered burn. I can't lie though, I do love blisters. Specifically, I love popping them, probably for the same reason I enjoy popping pimples and cracking joints and scraping the gunk out from my fingernails. Some of the grosser parts of being a human are the most enjoyable. I hate hating things, the energy it takes. I hate loving people who don't love me back. I hate wanting what I can't have. I love hating what I do have. I hate waiting for the next thing that's coming. All of high school is preparation for senior year, which is preparation for college, which is preparation for a bachelor's degree that I get just in hopes that I'll be hired or get into a good graduate program to be saddled with more debt. And once you're lucky enough to have a job, it's worse because you're saving for a house or you're saving to put your kids through college or you're saving to retire, which I don't imagine I'll ever be able to afford anyways. Once you retire, what's that, 10 golden years waiting for death? I wish that bullshit phrase live in the moment had any semblance of being remotely possible. I hate gossipers. I hate not being in on it. I hate myself sometimes. I hate waking up to go to class so I can go to work, so I can go home, so I can do homework. I really signed away my free time when I decided to go to college, and they don't really tell you that. Actually, they do, but you think it won't be true or you think it won't be that bad. But the truth is it's bad. It's killer. Now you've got 4 4-credit classes, 2 jobs, a grad program application due in a week. College is a lot of asking yourself if it's worth it, if you're worth it. A lot of asking yourself if you're any better than that 9-year-old who couldn't sleep because she heard some shouting and it made her sad about her parents. She realized that even grown-ups have self-doubt and have bad days and worry they'll never amount to anything. For many, college is a chance to quell those voices, or at least it seems like it'll be, but they chase you everywhere. You'll always be worried that you're no good, that you're no smart, that your achievements mean nothing because you didn't really work for them, even though the dark circles under your eyes and your nagging caffeine addictions are signs that you worked pretty damn hard. I hate that.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex. I have 2 very, very short poems to read. The first one is titled Fragments. I wrote a letter to tell you how blood fills the wound like some basin, some inching flood. To say, here is my self-portrait in fragments in the mud. Here, take my mustard seed eyes and sweet mint lips. I buried them under the rhododendrons and morning glories. Is it too big a burden to keep your hands out of the dirt? This is no search but a scattering, a desert wandering. Call the Messiah. Home is no home, an openness. Okay, and the second one is called Clementines. At first you are nostalgic like a stale cigarette you won't smoke. like something thin and still between your fingers, like the solid earth beneath your feet. Only now the earth is tilting, and now you are nostalgic like getting high in your 2-green bedroom, like taking ayahuasca on a wet rock, your mother, naked, moving like a bird becoming, some hatching, like a blackbird on a windowsill, and clementines. In my dream, there are always clementines.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I was practicing in my rock and roll style too much, and I was a little too loud. I apologize. But I kind of need to be excited because I got my man, my prehistoric bitch, my man Monk here. See, for those of you who don't know me, shut up for a second. My name is Tiger Boy. But you can call me Rick Gibbons. You can call me the X-Men of our... I'm so fucking exasperated, I can't even get my names right. I'm the Karaoke Christ, the Hudson Valley's biggest scumbag, Ricky DeLove. And can we get a shot of my man Monk here? David, is that cool? Like, I'll put him right here for just for a little bit. Have a little sit. Come on, his cousins got wiped out by a meteor. I don't want to, you know. Closer? All right. He's too dark?
Too dark in the spot.
Oh, I thought it was like a racist thing. I'm like, nah, man. We all bleed the same blood, man. Couple genomes removed. But I know my man Monk. I know my man Chris Quitley, who's very shy there in the back. He won't come forward. Everyone, I want you to say, "Hi, Chris." Hi, Chris. That's it. This is a song from the perspective of my man Monk towards Mr. Quitley, Chris Quitley. See if I remember the chords. I always forget this stuff. See. My name is Monk, I make Chris happy, I cheer him up when life gets crappy. We have fun, it's good for his health, I stop him from killing himself. So now that you've all been baptized within Monk, we're going to have a spiritual journey here. I mean, this journey has an expiration point. I only have 4 beers here. One's for me, so I need 3 people to line up right here who would like to be baptized in the name of my man Monk, who will also enjoy Corona. Charlie already got one earlier. If you want another beer, come on here. Cole, Pioro, David. Does anyone want one? No, you drink the beer and I crack it open. No, it's yeah. And what's your name? Sophie. I baptize you in the name of the Monk, the Father and the Holy Monk. Let me crack one open for you. I'm a Budweiser drinker, can't you tell?
I have to go.
I'm gonna have her do it because it looks cooler. She could probably get it faster than I could.
Interesting bottle opener.
I bought it for $5 down the road. Sophie's been baptized in the name of Monk. Who else would like to get baptized in the name of Monk? Come on down. Don't be shy. Anyone?
Is this a legally binding baptism?
Only in your heart and maybe your pancreas. Would you want one? No? So the joke falls flat. Let's give a big round of applause for Sophie. Yeah. So I do rock and roll type stuff, but I also enjoy country music. Who enjoys country music here? I enjoy country music as well. It is America's music. And I would like to do a cover song of possibly the most famous country song of all. Probably your grandpapas and grandmamas enjoyed it very much. And I would just like to play it here for you. It goes a little something like this. I want to bang my sister in the back of my truck. That's old country, but it is now 2023. It's a new time. We are more progressive, we are more accepting, we want to bring people together, we are more, dare I say, woke. So here's a new type of country song. It was a hit a couple years ago. I think Hannah Montana's dad did it, and it was a hit in the Billboard charts or something. It was something like this. I want to bang my brother Did I mention he's black? And that's new country. That's new country. And, you know, there's an old saying that that nice guys finish last. I don't think that's true, though. You see, I'm a nice guy myself, so we can vouch for our own kind. Nice guys don't finish last. They finish prematurely and have to apologize a lot. You know what I'm saying? This next one is for all the ladies out there. I see you, sexy mamas. But every time I strike these guitar chords, your ovaries go. So this for all the ladies out there. Goes a little something like this. 1, 2, 3, 5. I just wanna suck your dick. I just wanna suck your dick. I just wanna suck your dick. I just wanna suck your D-I-C-K. I just wanna suck your dick. I just wanna suck your dick. I just wanna suck your dick. I just wanna suck your D-I-C-K, baby. And oh no, look what happened. Life gets in the way when your guitar string breaks. So, what am I gonna do? I don't really know. I can't really play full-fingered chords. I guess I'll just have to put my man Monk over here. I guess I'll just have to baptize myself again and see if I could figure out something to do with my remaining time. I had another song I wanted on the guitar. I had a couple of other guitar songs. But you know what? I think I know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rap. Check. You say you got the moves like Jagger? Yo, stop talking. I make Mick Jagger look like Stephen Hawking. MC Rabbits having sex is walking. All the girls that know what I'll be gawking. Shake and bake to the sound of my voice. I make vaginas moist like Blastoise. I fuck a lot, so I am pro-choice. Chicago was in the state of Illinois. R to the A, double B-I-T-S. Rhyming and fucking is what I do best. My favorite things in life is a girl's chest. My dick is what women's molest. My genitalia will never fail ya. I got a girl pregnant in Australia. I be styling and profiling, banging girls in Long Island, defiling man, hymen, and y'all don't know where I've been, cause I'm slipping, sliding, fighting, never hiding, shining up my pride, and women's I go inside them. I don't give a fuck what you people think. You don't like me, I'll take a shit in your sink. Rabbits having sex goes raw in your mama. I wanna fuck Michelle Obama, stoned like a weasel, off the sour diesel. Microphone stand is my goddamn easel. My mic is like a bike to Evil Knievel. I start by the mind, inconceivable. Rabbits having sex, bitch, there is no equal. I need some bitches to make me some sequels. Most rappers today like to pretend they're evil, but they really just like the Star Wars prequels. It's the new shit. It's incredible. People bought my dude. It's incredible. I got cred. I'm credible. And vaginas is edible. Yeah, and I jam like Ella. When it comes to rap, I am the vanilla killer. Yeah, and I jam like Ella. When it comes to rap, I am the vanilla killer. My MC stands for microphone conqueror. I get more head than a goddamn yarmulke. I got laid every day last Hanukkah with a Jewish girl. Her name was Veronica. Smoke blunts when I'm on the toilet. When I get a blumpkin, I'll do enjoy it. Give me a microphone. I'll play it, then I'll stick it in some pussy and I'll fucking destroy it. When I see a lady, I'm thinking smooth. Say, hey, baby, then I make my move. I talk romance for a chance to get into her pants, to have an epic reproductive dance. I get money just for talking funny, so I can bang mad cute honeys like a bunny. That's what they call me. Rabbits having sex. I skull fuck bitches till I break their necks. I shake one their rumps and wrecks them, affects them, about to explode. Hit the fucking deck. Rick Gibbons, Hudson Valley's biggest scumbag, and the answer to the question, oh, you beautiful people are thinking, yes, I am single.
I don't really know how to follow that. I can't. There's no follow. That's crazy. That's crazy. You got a beer on it. I did get a beer. That's also crazy. You don't get a beer every day. much often. It's up to you how the rest of your life will be like. Do about charade really is a son of a gun, and honestly I don't think that I can have fun anymore. I don't have fun anymore. Life is dumb and it's boring. Hate the days, look forward to mornings. Communicate with all the ones you deem deserving. Hold on to them. Give them what they're asking. Or you're alone. This is another song. Is it easier to visualize it when you squint your eyes? How does that work? Well, eagle eyes squiggle through condensed eyes. They twist your sides and gnaw at the lines that connect you to. Like before. And when it starts again, whoa, will you be there when it starts again? Whoa, will you be there when it starts again? Will you be there when it starts again? Will you be there when it starts again? walked around the town last night for hours with high hopes I would see you around. Your vegetable fried rice had me thinking that you'd also be missing out on one romantic night. That you would be missing out on a romantic night. That you would be missing out. To my state for the sake of passing time. Why don't I? Where do you go? Why do you stay at home when you can go outside? Well, I'm in your head now, and I would rather not be. But like it or not, I have crossed the line again. Like before. Whoa, will you be there when it starts again? Whoa, will you be there when it starts again? Will you be there when it starts again? Will you be there when it starts again? Will you be there? Will you? Just trying to know you. Well, I am trying. I'm just trying to know you. Well, I'm trying. I'm just trying to trying to know you. Well, I'm trying. I'm just trying to know you. Well, I am trying. I'm just trying to
Thank you.
I am mentally speechless. I wish we didn't end on that, just because now I feel like I don't know how to close this. We're all buzzing a little bit.
I feel that way. I also feel that way.
Yeah.
Buzzing a bit.
Buzzing a bit, yeah. I think we really nailed this theme, though, weirdly. I think the intention was set, and we all really exposed ourselves in every way possible, and except for one, and we're all dressed, so, you know, we did succeed in that way. So,
Thank you all for keeping your clothing
Yes.
on and
I know it
participating.
takes a lot.
For
Yes.
sure. Thank you guys so much. If you had fun here today, we have a contributions bucket. All that money gets poured into what we do here, and obviously there's no pressure. We need you more than we need your money. If you've ever been to a 12-step fellowship, you might remember that line. But yeah, I have nothing else to say. Robin?
I too am still speechless. I just think tonight was incredible. Every month
We
or
have so much
few
fun.
weeks that we do this, it's like just uplifts me so much, and I think it uplifts everybody. And it just keeps getting better and better, which is like a good thing until like that plateaus and then it falls really dramatically.
It's gonna be so bad, devastating.
Oh my God, you guys don't want to be around for that, but we'll warn you. So
This is so good. I feel like Statler and Waldorf right now. I'm done talking.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.